Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This time, I'd like to ask everyone to stand and pledge allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today is Tuesday, February 18th, 2025. It's approximately 7:05 p.m. Welcome. We are opening the public hearing for the Board of Finance 2025-2026 budget. And this public hearing is open for both the mayor's proposed budget and the Board of Education budget to immediately follow. For those of you who are not aware of the process, the public hearing will remain open for the next month or so, but this will be the opportunity for the public to address this board with any comments that they may have on the mayor's proposed budget and on the Board of Education's proposed budget. And then after that, we will receive input from the various departments of the city and also the Board of Ed on February 27th. So at this time, I would like to invite any members of the public who would like to present any comments on the mayor's proposed budget to do so at this time. And I think there are some speakers, but if you wouldn't mind just coming toward the board or toward the conference table here, and please state your name and address for the record. And you're welcome to make any comments on the mayor's proposed budget at this time.
Here we go. Hi, Christopher Thomas, 8 Argyle Road. I just want to say in general, because this will be part of the comment I'm going to make about Board of Education later. I am a very happy resident of Milford, Connecticut. I don't mind paying my taxes because I get wonderful service. We have a great police department, we have a great fire department, we have a great public works department, we have a great recreation department. I have had services from all of those departments in my 20 years living here. So I generally support the budget. And I just want to say that I'm very happy here. I think you guys should do what you can to keep the status quo and trust the mayor and his recommendations on how we should move.
Thank you for your comments. I would welcome anyone else who would like to speak on the mayor's budget to do so at this time. Well, at this point, we'd invite any members of the public who would like to make any comments on the proposed Board of Education budget. You're welcome to do so at this time.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. My name is Andrew King. I reside at 32 Cedarhurst Lane. First, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude for the tireless work that you all do. You dedicate your time and effort without compensation, and the city of Milford truly appreciates your commitment. However, I am here before you tonight to ask you to extend your efforts even further. I come before you as both a taxpayer and a voice for many other residents here in Milford. I am deeply concerned about the proposed budget for the Board of Education. This budget is one where efficiencies were not sought, and it was approved by the Board of Education along party lines. It was also lacking. It was so lacking in details that the Republican board members of the Board of Education felt that they couldn't make an informed decision for the taxpayer. Now, let me clarify that my concerns do not lie with the aspects of the budget that affect the education of our children. I am not an expert on budget auditing, but there are two areas I believe need urgent attention. First, there was no review or study to identify efficiencies in the Board of Education's managerial structure. We do not have clear information on job responsibilities, description, and overall structure. I urge the board to consider tasking an independent organization with reviewing all managerial positions and identifying areas where cuts can be made for greater efficiency. Secondly, Milford Academy. While the program is valuable and it must continue, we cannot allow it to operate as it currently does. For the school year of 2025 to 2026, there were only 17 students enrolled. And based on my rough calculations, this is costing the city over $60,000 per student. Surely there must be a more cost-effective way to run this program. The cost of education for Milford Academy needs to be more in line with the rest of the school system. For several years, we've faced consecutive tax increases, most of which stem from the Board of Education's budget. The taxpayers of Milford cannot bear this burden indefinitely. Mr. Lima, last year you expressed concerns about the budget growing at a rate of over 4% per year. Unfortunately, we are seeing that again. And Mr. Moulton, you noted that year that a surprising number of people in Milford are struggling. Well, we are still struggling, and taxes are not the only bill that we have that is increased on us. I urge you to keep in mind the responsibility that you have to us, the residents. Understand that this budget is putting a strain on all of us. I am asking you to be vigilant stewards of the taxpayers' dollars entrusted to you. Voting taxpayers are trusting that you will look out for their best interests. I appreciate your time and attention to this. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you for your comments, Troy.
Hello.
Hello, welcome.
My name is Sarah Flannery. I live at 41 North Street. Good evening, members of the Board of Finance and fellow citizens. I am here today to express my support for the proposed education budget for Milford Public Schools. As someone deeply invested in our educational future, I followed the budget development process with great interest. I want to commend our Board of Education for their thorough and diligent review during their series of budget workshops. Their detailed analysis and thoughtful questioning demonstrated careful fiscal oversight and a deep commitment to our district's well-being. The careful examination of $645,218 in identified savings and focus on ensuring alignment with district priorities reflects the kind of thorough financial stewardship our community expects and deserves. The 4.87% increase is higher than recent years, but there's important context to consider. In the past, our district could offset rising costs through savings from declining enrollment. That's one of the main reasons we were able to keep previous increases lower. Now, with enrollment stabilized, we no longer have that buffer. Today's increase reflects our current reality, inflationary pressures, and contractual obligations that cannot be deferred. This is a maintenance budget, pure and simple. It contains no new programs or major building projects. Instead, it focuses on maintaining our current educational standards while providing the stability we need during this critical period of long-term facilities planning, which I hope all of you will come next Saturday. There is a community conversation of long-range facilities planning that we're undertaking, and they've invited the entire community. And I hope you all will come to that as well. This is a period where we are currently evaluating the plan for our schools, and this budget allows us the stability through that process. What we're really considering is whether we'll continue providing our students with the same level of educational quality they currently receive. This budget is not about expansion, it's about preservation and stability. The identification of over $645,000 in savings shows that every dollar has been scrutinized. This demonstrates good stewardship of our resources while meeting our obligations to our students and staff. I urge you to maintain this budget as presented. It represents a balanced approach to maintaining educational excellence while acknowledging our fiscal responsibilities to both our students and taxpayers. I just want to say one thing about struggling, because just in reference to what Mr. King said about the academy, If you want to talk about struggling in our community, you will find it at the academy, and to pinpoint cuts to students in those programs, I think is heartless. So I'm just really shocked that in the context of community struggles, that this is an area that we would look for cutting. So I just urge you to be mindful of that.
Good to be here with you tonight. Sky Cornell, I'm at 14 Bonsaline Street. And thank you for your time and allowing me to address this board. Kara laid out, I think, really nicely a lot of the points about this budget that are important to me. And I do feel that this is a fiscally responsible budget. It seems to be the right budget for this time that we are in. It is, having watched all of the workshops, having read the materials, I think the increases that are being requested are things that are really unavoidable. We have teacher contract commitments. They are about transportation and special education. And those are things that I think, those are commitments that we need to make toward quality of our schools and commitments to our students and the teachers in Milford. But there's two other reasons that I also personally came out tonight to speak and express my support for this budget. So one of those reasons is that in the last few years, we have made investments in things like programming and in mental health supports. And as a parent of the students, and I'm a little nervous, obviously, sorry, I can't help it. As a parent and talking with other parents, I can see that those supports, they're working. The implementation is happening. I'm not saying that we're without struggles in the schools, but I can see them working their way through the system, and implementation takes time. So that's what I expect from any changes and investments that we've made over the last few years, and I'm glad to see that that's happening. And I can understand why we're not looking to make more investments in that way this year. The other reason that I'm personally here tonight is that we are having long-range facilities planning in this community. I think it's being undertaken really with the prudence and seriousness and thoughtfulness that it should be. I've been really glad to go to the last meeting in January. I saw many members of our Board of Aldermen there, members of our Board of Education. I was really glad to be in small groups with people and really sharing this discussion. So I don't think that there should be decisions about facilities in this budget. I'm glad that there are not decisions about facilities or really any major maintenance type requests. So those are the reasons I'm here today. Thank you again for the chance to speak with you. I hope that I urge you to support this budget, and also thank you, for all that you're doing and your volunteering for Milford. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Kara Lee Schultz. I live at 100 Seaflower Road. I don't have anything truly planned to say, so I'm kind of going off the cuff. If I don't go to almost every meeting, I watch every meeting. I'm very educated in what is going on. I was there when Dr. Kataya presented to the Board of Education her plan. I fully support it. I am deeply scared that if there is any cuts, our children are going to take a step backwards, because there's nothing new in this program. There's no money built in for anything extra. The 4.87, I believe, is the number. Most of that is human capital. Our teachers, social workers, administrators deserve the funding that they get, and those are contracts. So there's nothing we can do. So if those come out, it's going to cut from something else. And that's not fair to our students who have worked so hard, and the teachers who continue to work with them hard. So I just wanted to make that point across. It really is the human capital, is that 4.87. It's nothing that our students are getting in addition. So, thank you.
again. And it's again, Chris Thomas, 8 Argyle Road. While I spoke in favor of the city budget earlier, I speak as well in favor of the education budget. I have had 3 children go through Milford schools. My son went to a magnet school from 6 to 12, but I had one daughter graduate Jonathan Law High School. My other daughter is currently a junior at Jonathan Law High School. They have been involved in arts programs and various clubs and activities. And one of the things I want to point out is that parents, we get invested in our kids' education. We support arts programs, we support sports programs. We go out and we fundraise for the school. I'll be at a bottle and can drive next weekend, making sure that the choir and the band have some things they need. We parents value our education system because our children get a good education. As I say, we are very happy with the services we get in this town. I do understand budgets and tax increases can become an issue, and I do understand that some people are struggling to stay up with the tax increases and the inflation. It can be a burden. However, one thing we can never do is hurt the education of our children. It is perhaps the most paramount thing we have as a society. We have to value it. You have a superintendent, you have a board of ed, and with all due respect to people who say otherwise, when they make decisions, they're the executive branch in that case. So they pretty much, they decide where the money goes. If you want to have a difference there, you need to push back with specifics, and you need to know what you're talking about. This superintendent has been there for a while. I understand that I don't go to all the meetings, exactly how Dr. Kutai operates, what her goals are. Because other speakers have brought it up, I'll also mention that the academy, alternative education programs like that are vitally important. I am a public school teacher in Hamden. I have worked with those programs before in my time at Hamden High School. I am sure there are more than 17 students. I'm sure that's just a starting point. You start, what your base is now. Perhaps students that are currently listening to go there, I'm sure will be more. But trying to look at a relatively small program like that and then break it out and make wild math calculations about what the per pupil cost is there. That's not how you do per pupil costs. The per pupil cost is every single student in the district and then what the per pupil costs are. Some students are going to take more money. Some students are going to take less money and need less support. I speak out every year in favor of the school budget, so I know maybe my comments don't hold as much water because I'm always saying support the school budget. But as a resident, I say support the school budget. I cannot state enough, because I'm not a lifelong Milford. My wife is. I came here 20 years ago, and I could not enjoy the quality of life here in Milford more. So thank you very much. On a personal note, welcome to my neighbor, Jeff Matchett, on his new appointment. Thank you guys very much.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Kanan, and I live at 23 Marie Street. I unfortunately do not need to be prepared, so I'm going to be speaking from the heart. But first off, I want to thank you guys for all that you do. I volunteer in my free time, so I understand the commitment, the time, the effort it takes. So I do appreciate all your hard work for what you do for our city, so my heart goes out to you for that. I am in support of the education budget. I moved here with my husband 6 years ago from Fairfield because we couldn't afford Fairfield. And we wanted something that was exactly like Fairfield. And we landed on Milford after doing all our research, especially with the school system. And 6 years later, we are more than happy here. Our daughters are thriving. We do have one daughter that receives special services for special ed. So I'm very concerned if you cut anything in that budget, that's going to affect a lot of kids. And I don't want that to happen to her because she is thriving and she is doing excellent. And if you do that, that would be a detriment to all the kids that need that service. And also, we are happy to pay the taxes here. My husband and I are just love it here, and we are willing to put the money in. I know things are tight, but, you know, we cannot, our investment is the kids, and that is the selling point for the city. And if you do anything to the kids, it's gonna hurt all that wonderful PR we have got going for us. So, just something I want you guys to keep in mind. And that's just it. And then I also have a family member that does attend the academy, and he is doing so well. And it's the perfect place for him. So to hear someone just, you know, throw out random numbers and random price per pupil rates that make no sense in my head, is kind of like a blow in my heart, because that's a service that's really, really important to those kids, and how dare he speak ill of that. But anyways, I'm in full support, and please, you know, it's a very trim budget this year. There's not a lot of wiggle room, and if you cut something, it's gonna impact a lot of kids that are finally like thriving now past the pandemic and everything. So thank you.
Again, I'd like to invite anybody who would like to speak on the Board of Education budget, and also we would welcome anyone to speak on the mayor's proposed budget as well, if they would like. One more time, a last call for anyone who would like to speak, or make any comments on either budget. You're welcome to do so at this time. If there is no one in the audience who would like to address the board, I think we will have a motion to recess. But first, I would like to thank those speakers for coming out tonight and for their thoughtful comments and making the effort to present your opinions and thoughts to the board. We do appreciate it as well, and it is helpful in our deliberations. So thank you all for coming out. If there's nothing from the members of the board, I would welcome a motion to recess the public hearing until our next meeting here, tomorrow night.
I'll make a motion, Mr. Chair, that we reconvene February 19th, which is Wednesday, via Zoom, starting at 5:30.
Is that a second, Jeff?
Second.
All right, we have a second. Mr. Matchett? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, we'll see everyone tomorrow night. Via Zoom, actually, see you electronically.